with AI in general, we're able to take what comes from our product, get our marketing messaging done, get that into a role play, get that out in front of our sales team in a week, maybe 2 weeks. And that used to take us a month or more.
Hello, my name is Eli Cohen, and I'm the CEO of Salesforce. Welcome to today's live webinar. Now, if you're a team of one, you're not going to want to miss this one. We're going to talk about how teams of one are able to scale their revenue enablement programs with Agentic AI. Now, we have an amazing speaker, Patrick from Tufin, who's going to walk us through his story. Remember, he's a team of one. We went all the way from migration from a legacy content management system to content activation to leaning into Agentic AI for content discoverability and AI role-playing and AI coaching and doing all that as a team of one. And then the outcomes are just amazing. Stakeholders are happy, revenue is going up, expansion revenue is going up, adoption is to the roof. So really excited for this conversation and for you to meet Patrick and to learn more about how Patrick at Tufin, team of one, is able to achieve amazing results. I'm just going to get right into it. So we're going to hear from Patrick. So Patrick, let's just get going. I think love folks to just get to know you a little bit. You've got an amazing background. Love your Apple background. Love your sales focused background. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into enablement? And then tell us about Tufin.
Yeah, so I started at Apple. I was in the channel sales there, ran the state of Ohio for a little while. And big part of that was enablement, was training channel members and enabling them to go out and sell on our behalf. That's how I started in enablement. And now I'm the global head of sales enablement here at Tufin. Been here for 4.5 years, helping our sales organization be more effective for onboarding, product knowledge, competitive readiness, coaching, all across our direct sales team and our supporting sales teams.
That's great. Congrats. And how big is the team? How large is the enablement team?
One. You're looking
Okay.
at the amazing enablement team at Tufin. We've got about 56 direct sellers and about another 40 to 50 people that support them through customer success and sales engineering and all that good stuff.
Amazing. So listen, folks, it's really critical, especially when you're a team of one, to be leaning into the latest technology like Agentic AI to scale your programs and to achieve those amazing outcomes that you want to achieve in your businesses. So thank you for kind of the context. And Tufin, what does Tufin do? Like, give us a little bit of so we all kind of have perspective on what Tufin does. Be great.
Awesome. Yeah, so Tufin is what we call a network security posture management company. And so what we do is we help large enterprises manage, automate, and continuously validate their network security policies. And so that's their on-prem firewalls, their cloud, and their microsegmentation, and all kinds of cool technologies they use all in one unified control plane. We've been doing that for 20 years with some of the most complex and largest enterprises out there.
So it sounds complex, sounds technical, and it feels like, really, folks, and you need to be current, right, on the latest tech, because the tech is changing so fast in your industry, I assume, right?
Very, very fast. And there's a whole new, especially with AI, companies need to be more secure than ever before, and AI is doing more than ever before. So it's a crazy pace that we're going at right now.
Okay, great. I love it. And so the punchline, folks, after Patrick and Tufin migrated off of their legacy content management system, and Patrick will tell the story. Here's the punchline. They experienced, their adoption skyrocketed, from almost no adoption to close to 90% adoption in a very short period of time. So I love that leading indicator. And what really stuck to me in the story was the win rate improvement, the expansion growth, and then the improvement in kind of customer NRR. So there are some very direct revenue outcomes that Patrick can connect all the great work he's done over the years to, which is great. So now, Patrick, we want to go back in time. So what was your world like, the first year or two of Tufin when you were trying to navigate this new company, trying to kind of build some foundational enablement stuff? Like what was enablement like way back then in the old world with the old legacy content management?
No, so when I came in, we had our content organized, and on the surface at the beginning it looked fine. It was there, it was organized, accessible. Um, what I found though in that moment was that the version control was a real issue. And updates that were happening from our content stakeholders weren't making it
Mm.
into the platform. They weren't staying up to date. Old files were sitting there alongside new ones. So which one was current? And our reps got confused. They stopped coming into it. They started going to other places to find it. In fact, I can remember one specific moment where a team member was trying to find a price list. And instead of going into the platform, he sent an email out. The email was responded by another rep sharing a price list that was 3 years old.
Wow, that's not good.
No.
That can't be good. That probably has issues, challenges. So, got it. So we've got issues with version control. Reps can't find the latest content. Reps are confused. What about other challenges? Like, did you know what content was working and making an impact? Like, was there any visibility to that in the old way, the old world?
No, we didn't. We knew what was getting clicks, but we didn't know what outcome it was driving. And ultimately, I think what we uncovered was because of all of the issues that we had, people stopped going into the platform and they stopped engaging altogether.
Yeah. So, folks, that's pretty common. I think in today's world, when you're working with a legacy content management system, and you know what they are, folks. We're not going to call them out. We respect all the companies in the sales enablement industry, but but I think those were some pain. So then you went on a journey. So tell us about your journey. You evaluated a bunch of companies, you chose SalesHood, and then how did you migrate, and what were some of the things that you did at the beginning to get set up for success?
Yeah. So we looked all around, and what we found with SalesHood, one of the big things that helped us was it integrated with the tools that we as a company are using. And that was really helpful to get to where our content stakeholders were. We wanted to meet them there and meet them
Mm.
within their workflow. So here at Tufin, every department has their own collaboration space in SharePoint. That's how we work every day. I go to them, I share this file, they share that file. That's where all the editing and the background stuff is happening. So instead of trying to ask them to change their habits, we were able to take enablement and meet them with it and get that integrated. So that was a huge, huge part of why we decided to go the route that we did. Because since that stuff lived in the place they're already used to, now we
Yeah.
knew the versions were correct. We knew they were always up to date. We knew that what we'd be providing the sales team was the right messaging and the most up to date version of it across the board. All we had to do was set up our initial integrations and let that stuff flow through the file system and the tags.
Right. I love it. I love it. So you made your stakeholders happy, and from day one with the SharePoint integration, which is great. And so just so we're understanding, so that means and so the stakeholders are folks like marketing, product marketing, who are any other stakeholders?
Yeah, our product team, our
Yeah.
product marketing team, our customer success team, our renewals team, revenue operations, all of them have their own space, and all of them love the fact that they could edit in their place now.
Got it. So you did the integration with sure. And how long did that take to kind of do
That
the
was
migration?
that was so quick. Their information is already there. And so once we set it up, the whole file system, we just set it up with our apps team and our IT team.
Boom.
Their entire file system was right there. We chose the folders and files to sync, and that was it.
Yeah, I think there's a general fear when companies have an old legacy content management system that isn't working. Like Patrick, I think it's safe to say folks sometimes can be afraid of like, oh my God, how am I going to migrate? And so one of the things I love about your story is you basically telling us it's pretty easy, right? As long as you're organized in SharePoint or Drive or something, you can just sync it and then boom, it's beginning to be activated. Fair?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Okay. And then so the content's in there, right? And so then what happened?
Okay. So then now the priority was, in my opinion, it was getting the trust back. We lost it, we couldn't get all that right stuff, but now we needed to get that trust back. So we needed to make sure that our reps and our team could find the right content as soon as they could, as soon as they logged into the system. So that began for us with building out the pages that they would land on,
Yeah.
organizing everything by their team, their role, their situation, the go-to-market, and then mapping that to the SharePoint that we had integrated, whether it was through the files or the tags. And that, I mean, that was a game changer. The reps opened it for the first time, all their playbooks, all their messaging, everything that was unique to them. So our new logo teams were getting it, our customer success teams were getting it. Uh, they knew what they were getting from day one and found it on day one with the most up to date. And I think that was a huge part in getting their trust back.
I love it. Activating the content with plays and playbooks in the system, and then your teams are coming in and finding it. That's great. I think, but you did have a challenge, I think, that you overcame quickly. And this is kind of something that I really want to dig into a little bit. I think maybe talk to us about, content mastery, or how you leveraged AI to kind of activate the content. And just tell us real, like keep it real, like what happened with these pages and kind of how did you quickly learn and evolve your enablement program?
Yeah. So we had them back into the system. We had them coming in, and I know the engagement platforms went from very low, like a 30% in any given week, to 90% they were in the platform, and that was great. So like any other enablement team, and we're taking new stuff from product and all the messaging from marketing, and how do we boil that down to the stuff that's relevant to the go-to-market teams and the sales teams, and we were putting all of that information into pages and sales plays. So we were, housing that content in there, and it had all the right information and who to go say it to, what we were saying, why we were saying it in the story. But what we found out was they were going to those pages, but they weren't digesting it all. It was still so much, and it was a lot of reading. And as we thought about that, we thought about, well, how do people learn? They learn through doing and practicing. And in came a bunch of the AI features and pieces of Saleshood, especially the AI coaching and role plays.
Yeah.
So now we said, all right, now instead of just giving them all the information and what to say, let's build that into these sales plays. Uh, and what we did with that was take all of our information and create our coaching and our role plays and let them practice it. So now instead of reading, I'm doing. And some of our competitive sales teams, you can go in and see how many. I know we had at least two of our best reps who took it, I think, 8 to 10 times, and even said it. You don't have any idea how many times I took this thing because I wanted to win. And that was that competitive drive in practice that really
I
uh,
got it. And
got the
when
rest.
you and by the way, I love it. And so I think that's a good lesson for everyone. It's not enough to just activate the content, bring it in, recreate pages. Yeah, you can make it all look pretty and it'll look great and everything can be tagged and the agentic AI can help them find it and they can, but like reality is, as Patrick said, like they still need to learn by doing. And I think it's a really big takeaway for everyone. I think when you're talking about activating sales plays, have as part of your strategy the an AI coaching kind of strategy, role playing baked into the play, baked into the pages, and baked into your process. So kudos. Really, 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 really kudos. You said let's talk about that salesperson that said they ran through they did 8 submissions, they did 8 trial runs, and they said they wanted to win. Like what does that mean when you say they wanted to win? Like win what? And how did you kind of showcase that?
Yeah, so we built out the scoring system on each of those role plays, and I'm also a big fan of I'm never going to ask anybody to do something I won't do. So once it's built, I go in and I take it. And I want to set the bar kind of high, and I want them to be, I'm not losing to Pat. Screw that. Uh,
Yeah.
and so what she did is, she went in and she took it and she got the feedback and the scoring and said, okay, here's where I missed on this messaging a little bit, and took it again and learned from that and then tweaked it and made it her own. And those scores based on, are you saying the right thing to the right person? Are you making it relevant? Is it outcome driven? Is it time bound, pain driven? All tied into the scores that helped her get that higher number.
Amazing. And for that specific play, for that specific solution, whatever the thing was that person that she was focused on right then and there. Wow. What have you learned? I think AI role playing, AI coaching is new for many people, and our customers are seeing amazing results as you are as well. But I'm curious, like what have you observed as you've been, using the technology? I know the tech's been evolving as well in real time, but like what are some of your lessons learned on creating, designing these AI role play agents and AI coaching agents? Would love to hear your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, the feedback and input you give it to make it smart, it's it's really hard to master. And you tweak it several times to get it right and get it the background and have it know who it is and provide the right feedback. You know, I know that there's in the Slack, the Saleshood Slack was a guide to input information and it would kick out and let you copy and paste it in. And that was a really good place to start. But then tweaking uh, each of the pieces of who I needed it to be, we talked about earlier being a really technical field. So
Yeah.
I have to coach what the heck is microsegmentation in a network. And so, like all of those little things about making it smart, I found that the more precise you got with micro you got on what it was you wanted it to do, the better the training would be. So if you make it broad, I want you to do the whole sales thing, it's not as effective as really getting down and say, I want to work on this one particular thing and this one particular skill.
No, so being really specific.
Yes.
And how many role plays do you think you've created? I know we didn't. I'm curious.
I don't
A bunch,
maybe
right?
maybe 20 to 30 now at this point. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we've got all
What's
kinds
could
of.
you share an example like not show, but just like maybe just talk through an example like of a role play. Like, and what I'm curious about is how you are, what precise means to you. And
Yeah.
so like, talk about one maybe for a sales process, maybe talk about one front of the funnel, middle of the funnel. I'm curious if you could share one without giving away Tufin IP and stuff like that. I get it.
Of course. One of the initiatives that a lot of companies are taking right now are something called microsegmentation. And it's a security piece where you're getting really granular on what devices can talk to what. So if somebody is able to breach into your network, they're stuck there. They can't get anywhere else. That's new. I know it doesn't sound like it's probably new, but it is really new to be able to manage to that level. And what we wanted our team to do was to be able to really talk effectively about how difficult that is for companies to implement and manage. And that was where we dove right in and we got customer info, like
Yeah.
conversations and what we were hearing. And that is a tiny feature of the future of what many companies are doing. And it was that was one of our
Wow.
micro learning role plays.
And besides that amazing salesperson, thank you. Besides that amazing salesperson who she shared, how many times? What other feedback are you hearing from the sales team? Listen, you're sales focused. You've got a sales background, so I know you're always staying close to the field. What are they telling you in terms of feedback on the new system, feedback on the AI, and what are you hearing from the field?
Yeah, so a couple of things, and because we're technical, we also have some really smart technical people.
Yeah,
And so when I build them, it's fun to give the AI different degrees of intensity, if you will.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and so sometimes I'll give it really technical backgrounds and information, and I'll tell it, I want you to be really difficult. And I've gotten messages from some of our technical team, and they'd said they were amazed at how much it understood the technology and how much they had to try to explain it and work and understand and work around the aggressiveness of the role play. And they liked that variation of sometimes you're going to meet people who are really positive, and that's, great. The conversation is a little bit more natural. And then you find those people who are closed off and they don't you've got to earn their trust. And I think customizing the AIs and the role plays in different ways builds that muscle a little bit.
I love it. And I'm just imagining, kind of the comparison between the old world where you just had, a page with content, whatever it was in the old system. And now you've got this blending of just-in-time content with plays, with playbooks, and then this interactive, dynamic, really, really tailored AI. Like it's wow, night and day, right?
Yeah, the feedback has been night and day,
Yeah.
the engagement has been night and day, and the outcomes that are driven from certifying that our teams know the right information and messaging has been drastically different. We're able to show completion and scores and you know beforehand you're talking about do I have the knowledge, can I say the right things, but now I can see that we're saying the right things, and it's just been a game changer.
No, it's great. I we're gonna dive in to the outcomes now that all of your stakeholders are experiencing. I want to remind everyone, please, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We're going to take questions at the end. We'd love to make this interactive. Feel free if you want them to be private, you can use the Q&A. And so let's talk about some of the outcomes. Let's talk about them. I think you've seen from adoption to expansion revenue growth. Maybe just kind of talk about some of the impacts you've had on the business with this new way of doing enablement and specifically with the help of the agentic AI.
Yeah. So, I know we talked about it before. The first step was engagement
Yep.
with the platform. We knew that they were coming in here, which meant knew that they were getting certified, and we had an easier time of getting them certified. From there, we knew they were out having the right messaging, and we knew that based on the certain plays we wanted to make within new customer acquisition or account management and renewals and expansion selling, we had certifications that we were able to tie to the increases that we saw within each of those lines of business, and especially with uh, our expansion team microsegmentation, which I mentioned before, that being such a big part of the future,
Yeah.
we're seeing our certified reps go have conversations that drive the results and able to tie that back to actual training time and the certification rate, which we've never
Yeah.
been able to do before.
And the content. That's huge, right? That's huge. So what how's your there are a couple questions we'll get to. How's your how are the marketing and the product teams feeling about the impact and how are they measuring impact?
Yeah, so the product teams and the marketing teams, they love the speed with which we can get information to the sales team. With the AI role plays and with AI in general, we're able to take what comes from our product, get our marketing messaging done, get that into a role play, get that out in front of our sales team in a week, maybe 2 weeks. And that used to take us a month or more
Yeah,
previous, the back
got
and
it.
forth. They love how fast we're able to do that. The marketing team loves that the messaging that they're looking to deliver is being delivered and the teams are saying it. So it's everybody has seen such an increase that I think they're on board for these new AI features.
No, it's great. I'm hearing, it used to be 30 plus days and now it's 1 to 2 weeks. So it's anywhere from 50 to 75% faster. And that must have a material impact. If you can get your teams talking about the solution, talking about the features, talking about kind of the stories and all the key messages faster, that means you can close deals faster, you can improve expansion revenue faster, everything. So you're going faster. One person show faster, faster, faster. I love it.
And in the sales world, what do you do? What have you done for me lately? So what we gotta say, right? So we're always on the next thing, and we pivot so much quicker, and
I
it's
love
great.
it. I love it. There's a question that came in, Patrick. I'm going to ask it, which is, so how are you assessing kind of the progressive improvement or improvements in the learning of your teams?
Ooh, that's a good one. So how we're measuring the progression of the teams, if you could go all the way back to when people are onboarding, but I think what we're looking at is how are their scores? Are they improving? And are they taking them? So if a new thing comes out, I don't expect, somebody newer to be able to master it and be number one right away. But when you can see their scores improve over time, they're getting it, they're connecting with it. And it's that type of improvement that I think helps tell the story of someone learning and utilizing
Yeah.
more than anything else.
I think it's really important, right? A lot of folks out there are thinking they can go build their own, role play agent, and you can build something as a standalone thing, but it's not tied to an overall system, right? And so if you've got a coaching system, a learning path, and you're tracking topics across a buyer journey over time, what you have with Saleshood, and Patrick just mentioned it, what you have with Saleshood is the ability to look at the progressive improvement. So you can look at people, you can look at their role play submissions, you can look at their role play scores, you can look at across topics, and you can visualize that. And I think it's really important that folks appreciate that when you are leveraging AI to improve skills, to change behaviors, you do need to look at that. And that should be table stakes when you're evaluating technology out there and when you're building programs. Because like Patrick, like your product team, your marketing team, like that's kind of they never had that data. Now they know. Like how like right? Like those reports that you're creating, they love them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like being able to actually see the growth, tie it back to results and let marketing, the sales leadership see that transition over time.
So besides marketing, another question, besides working with marketing and the product team, are there any other folks at Tufin in the organization that are supporting you because you are a quote unquote one man show, one person show? Just curious how you're leveraging the organization to achieve these great outcomes.
Yeah, so yeah, in my role, I have to rely on other people to be subject matter experts. And that goes back to, I think, the initial integration that saved me from a lot of chasing and updating is I know that the person in charge of our competitive analysis on our product team, I know that the information that is being pushed into Saleshood for competition is up to date. I know that she owns it. There's a page, her information. I know the tags they auto deploy, so I know where that information is. She just continues to update it, and I know that it continues to be where it needs to be. And so there are all kinds of people across the entire company that
Yeah.
have specialization that auto deploys for us.
No, it's great. I love it. I love it. I think another question related, but jumping from kind of the role playing and the coaching into content management, two-part. First, now that you're rolling out content faster, I think what is that doing in terms of providing feedback, and insights to marketing, and how's that affecting how your marketing team is thinking about content, playbooks, investing in more content, and all that? How is this informing how they're creating their content creation process? Sorry for the long question, but it took me a moment.
All good. No, I think I understand. And one of the things that it has connected them to is what's really happening in the field. Sometimes it's hard to know what the industry is telling you, but what the conversations with customers are actually are saying. And we had an example earlier this week. We have
Yeah.
a new conversation around agentic AI, just about like everybody else. And one of our sales reps who is working on a new messaging early went out, had some conversations, and had some experience and learning from it that we would never have uncovered. And by having that conversation, knowing that they were delivering the message, them having the message and bringing it back, now marketing has more insight into what was actually said and what our customers are truly desiring.
Huge, huge. Do you think, and I don't know, you may not know the answer to this one. Do you think you're building more or less content now?
uh, I think I'm building a whole heck of a lot more practice scenarios
Got
than I
it.
ever have before, which I'm fine with. I think it's more fun to practice
Yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
speak it than it is to read it. So
Well,
definitely more, but different.
there was a question in here. Is your marketing team building more or less? Listen, in general, folks, there's no shortage of content. I think there is people, organizations, go-to-market teams need to do more of what Patrick is doing, activating the content, organizing it the right way, providing the ability for the sales teams, revenue teams, success folks to practice multiple times, and get at bats before, because otherwise it's just content and you're just not going to use it. And you being a salesperson, like like content is content, but once you get your hands on it and you touch it and you play with it and you start, and that's why these role plays are so amazing. I think it's just the content plus the role play together creates a scenario where you're dramatically accelerating kind of time to revenue across the board, which is phenomenal. I think it's again, kudos. There was another thing you're using AI for, and it is more on the marketing side. I think you mentioned that the marketing team really likes kind of the agentic, the content audit, how it can tell which content is being used and not used. Maybe it's related to these questions. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that helps us make sure that what we're providing is the right information. And it's part of the reason we identified that the sales plays weren't, well, the sales plays as they were
Yeah,
originally weren't what people wanted. They weren't engaging with it. But the other is it helps me identify where our teams maybe need to refocus. So, we have the AI audit that tells you when things are about to expire, what things are stale, and it's good to help push people because we all have a new initiative every week, I feel like, or every
yeah,
day. And so when you see that and it tells you, hey, this thing hasn't been looked at in a while or hasn't been updated in a while, should it still be there? Now I know, hey, I can go back to that stakeholder and say, how are we doing on it? Is it still relevant? Is it still important? Um, we all need that little reminder, and AI is really good at helping push us towards remembering some of those things that used to be
yeah.
forgotten.
I love it. You're going back to the stakeholders and saying, hey, folks aren't accessing this document. They're not using it. Is it still relevant and maybe it needs to be updated? I think, and you're using the data and AI is prompting you with it. It's genius. It's good, 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 good. I'm curious. Um, you're way ahead of many, right? As a team of one, you're way ahead. You've leaned into agentic AI for kind of the content creation, for content discoverability with the agentic search, the role playing, the coaching agents, and then you've got the audit, right? You're way ahead. What's next? Like, where do you want to take this?
I want to take it to a place where eventually the AI is recommending follow up based on conversations that reps are having.
Yeah,
I think that's the true future is we what's the instructional design thing, right? Well, the first time we see something we retain 20%, and then we retain a little bit more and we forget some and then we get more. So it's really natural to forget some of what you need to know. And I would love for AI to see what people are saying, see where things are falling off, and be modular enough to say, hey, I think you should come back and take this real quick and refresh, or
good.
here's an update on how you would do this to maintain.
I love it. Well, let's do it together. Let's close that loop. I think it's amazing. It's amazing. Congrats to you. So, there are a lot of folks that are living in an old world with legacy content management. They've got fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They don't realize there's a potential to activate their content, to transform their impact, and to make a much bigger impact. What advice do you have for people that are kind of stuck in the old way and just can't get out of their own way? What advice do you have for some folks?
I found that in that moment, change was the best catalyst. Just jumping in. Like we could have slow rolled, moving everything over section by section, but because we were able to go find it where it lived, we just jumped in with all the right information. And I couldn't recommend more the outcomes of driving it. I'm doing way more with way less than I ever did before. And if I had not made that change, I don't think I'd be anywhere near where we are today.
Yeah. And having a bigger impact.
Exactly.
Better adoption, better win rates, faster time to revenue, higher expansion revenue, greater NRR. Kudos. Anything we missed, Patrick? Anything we missed to share that you think folks would want to hear?
It helps having AI support. I heard the other day people being worried about like AI and all that, but I found that the more you dive in and learn and go back and forth with it, the better it turns out.
I think you're right. AI as a resource is not going to replace your jobs here in this group that we're talking about, go-to-market enablement ops. It is going to help you give more agency to do more of like Patrick's doing. Think about it. He's a team of one and he has done a successful migration from a legacy content management system. He's got all of his content activated. His sellers are in there finding what they need. They've got high adoption, and he's doing role play. So you can basically you're basically creating these personal coaches across every conversation, and there's still so much more we could do. And you're giving great value to your stakeholders, and that's only possible with AI. So kudos, boom, kudos. I just want to take a moment, Patrick, and congratulate you and say thank you. We love our partnership, and I think I'm going to do a special call out to your customer success manager, senior customer success manager, recently promoted, Danica Grenard Schwartz, and let's give Danica a round of
She's the
applause.
best.
Say that again.
I said she's the best. Don't
She's
let
the
it.
best. So let me ask you, what does when you say she's the best, and you say what is it about our success model and Danica that has helped you be successful?
All right. So I meet with Danica weekly. Well, she'll be out for a few weeks, but meet with her weekly, and those conversations, every time I come to it with something I need or something that I'm trying to build, she's great for giving me ways to improve it, or taking feedback, or giving me advice from what other people are doing. I honestly, like, I find in those weekly sessions, I learn something that helps me build better information, better outcomes every week. It's one of the few calls that I really look forward to each week.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We pride ourselves in our customer success model. We like to say that we are an extension of our customers' enablement teams. And here we are, right? A team of one with a team of everyone at Saleshood leading with Danica leading the charge. Patrick, can't thank you enough. Thank you very much. How do people reach out to you? How do people connect with you?
Find me on LinkedIn. Happy to add anybody, everybody, and answer any questions and just connect with the larger enablement teams. Uh, I find the more we connect with and learn from and help one another, the better enablement is across the board. So find
Boom.
me, add me. I'll accept everybody's invitations.
And if anyone is interested in learning more about SalesHood and you want to get a demo, you want a trial, you want to see it in action, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to walk you through it. We're on a mission to help every company leverage agentic AI to go to market faster. So that's it, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us. And again, thank you very much to our amazing speaker, Patrick.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.